Hello, hello, hello. How you guys doing tonight? Hi, Sandra. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Nana. Hi, Brian. Hi, Susan. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Rodney. Hi, Richard. Hi, Linda. Hi, Catherine. How you guys doing tonight? Only a few people on tonight, which understandable. Good news to bad news though. Bad news to good news, no matter how you put it. Sad. The bird flu is now detected in 32 states as of Sunday, killing bald eagles in over half of those states. Half of those states so far. Florida has lost 9, Georgia's lost 3, Kansas lost 2, Maine has lost 2, Minnesota's lost 2, Nebraska's lost 1, North Carolina's lost 3, North Dakota's lost 2, Ohio's lost 2, Pennsylvania's lost 1, South Carolina and South Dakota both lost 3, Vermont 3, Wisconsin 1. Tens of millions domestic and wild birds have died. Tens of millions were euthanized as a result of this disease, which is especially deadly in domestic poultry. So now it's been detected in Utah and Idaho, most recent detections that have happened. I mean, paying the price of poultry is already up 8 to 12%. The price of eggs is up 8 to 12% as well. But bird flu is considered low risk to humans, but unfortunately, the feeding and Americans are feeling the effects because of the rising cost of poultry and poultry products. And eggs are used in pretty much a lot of baked goods and everything else you use in the world. Of course, that's affecting directly the price of those goods going up, along with the wheat shortage. That's just the beginning. So far, in the 14 states, bald eagles have died after contacting the bird flu. 2 in another state have suspectedly fallen ill with the pathogen, but we're only talking about the 36 that have died since February. Those are the only bald eagles we're talking about because those are the only ones they can confirm that had the bird flu at this point. Because if they can't find the bird or they haven't recovered the bird yet, it's sad. That turkey vulture is dying. Every bird's dying. That's the thing about this bird flu. The turkey vultures feed on any kind of dead animal, and they're feeding on birds that are already infected. Faced with that, of course, and wheat and corn shortages across the country, and people are wondering why. Well, fertilizer is up 120%, not 15%, not 10%, 120%. Fertilizer prices are up now. And according to all the experts, inflation won't peak for a while, and the Feds might be forced to raise its target of its 3.5% raise rate. And inflation will not peak anytime soon, and the surging prices could force the Feds to raise the target rate, according to a lot of scholars out there. Sad story out there because Americans are facing this day by day as we're going through this and facing this with extreme portions. People can't afford to buy stuff they used to buy on a normal basis. Food, supplies, goods. It is sad. Yeah, that's for cheap eggs probably in Atlanta. I get farm raised eggs, and my eggs are over $8 per dozen now. Yeah, credit cards are devils right now. They're just going to keep going up. Cut up your credit cards if you can. Get rid of anything or any payments that you're paying with a variable interest rate. Those will be extremely hard to fight here in the near future. Of course, Twitter board has a meltdown over Elon Musk's latest remarks. Elon Musk is still battling Twitter's board to effectively buy Twitter. The board is trying a poison pill defense, making it problematic for him to acquire more than 15% of shares. The company is trying to hold him off, but as we know, Elon Musk reportedly looking at partners to potentially get around this effort. Sounds like a plan B that he promised. Of course, Musk has also pointed out that a poison pill effort rather than a board accepting his offer, which would be very beneficial to the shareholders, is not acting in the shareholders' best interest. Legally, that could be very problematic for the board. Musk also debunked on the board's assertions that it would be rigged if he wasn't able to buy it. He noted that Jack Dorsey leaving the board, the only board members own virtually no shares. So there's little interest in aligning with those of the shareholders. Of course, one board member had never logged into the site. It's just ridiculous what's going on right now. I guarantee he will succeed with getting Twitter one way or another. And his plan for Twitter is to make it a true freedom of speech platform. Yeah. How long before the dollar collapses? I don't know. American bonds are being sold out rapidly. Nobody wants to hold American bonds or American-backed bonds, U.S. dollar-backed bonds. And that says a lot about what's happening in our country. It says a lot. Sad time to look at what's happening in our country. I mean, fertilizer rates, when fertilizer prices went up 120% within the last 3 months. 120%, not 20%, 120%. And that's fertilizer that they can get. That's not even the urethra that they need for the fields or uranitrate that they need for the fields to grow some of these heavy crops like corn and potatoes and wheat. This is a fighting battle that we're going to be able to. I don't think Musk is a good guy, but I think he's a freedom of speech person, and that is a good thing. That's the question. Why are we eating corn that is engineered for squirrels and deer not to eat it? Because it's engineered to not give them the nutrients, so they don't want it anymore, which is ridiculous. And we're feeding it to ourselves. Food prices are just getting started. Food prices are just getting started going up. As inflation is set to continue going up for the next, at least throughout this year. They're waiting for another surge in gas prices as we speak. I mean, it's one thing after another. It's going to be a hard time in America long before it gets easy again. And who knows if it ever gets truly easy again. We might be fighting this battle for some time. As sad as it may be, that's, I guess, the new American way. The new American way, if you want to put it in that way. Sad but true is the ridiculousness that Americans are having to face. I just wish there was a way we could get around this and America could be great again and we could all work together and have a better economy. That cup of soup, we have to eat to live. Right now, you're working to eat. So, gas is supposed to go way up. Yep. I sold a lot of chickens at auction Friday for $12.50 a bird. $12.50 a bird, Alan? Holy cow. Yeah, well, the C is here. The COVID is here too. COVID is here again now too. Well, they're not talking about that. COVID rates are climbing. Of course, it's not as deadly as the strain, but like in the past, prices raised 40% at some point, reducing the increase to 20%. So people are just exactly. People are going to be paying double to triple. Crime is way up. Crime is going to go up. Crime is already forecasted to go up because of this. Billy, I cannot take calls. I do not know what I did to my call system. I know it's still up there that I'm taking calls. I'm trying to figure it out. Live. Oh, just so many things down. Working on trying to get the calls to keep going in. Yeah, I know the calls that will not work right now for some reason. Calls will not work for some reason right now. There's not just shootings in South Carolina. There's a shooting that happened in South Carolina. There was another shooting that happened at some music festival. It's ridiculous. Shootings are happening. Mass shootings are happening everywhere, and it's not just the point. Teens are stealing cars, literally everywhere. Home robberies and strong arm robberies are on a huge uptake. And there's talk of a forced stimulus check at this point to try to stop or stem the flow. This is going to be a huge detriment to the U.S. And people are resorting to crime because they can't afford food. People can't afford food. I mean, literally, people getting these tax returns that usually are going towards spending and buying extra goods that they usually don't have money to. They're going to buying food. Yeah, our government is. No, the phone is not working right now. I should take that off the screen. I am sorry, Billy. Phone is not working right now. I'm sorry about that. What's going on? There we go. Took the phone number down for Billy so nobody tries calling. Yeah, murders are going everywhere, and the media is worried about everything. Yeah, get a pressure canner so you can start canning meat. I'm frozen. If I'm frozen, I can't help it. That's Facebook doing it. It has nothing to do with me. I don't know why I would be frozen though, because I don't have any bitrate issues on Facebook whatsoever. Yeah, Americans are still being held illegally, being held at this point. We haven't even gotten to Ukraine yet. Russia launched, of course, long foreshadowing offense in eastern Ukraine, starting today, vowing that, and Zelenskyy, of course, is vowing that his people will continue to fight and defend ourselves. But we can see the Russian troops have begun battle for Donbass, and they have been preparing for a long time. And they are pushing in significant portions in concentrated efforts. And Russian troops are driven, and they're pushing through. I mean, you got to love. Russia has reinforced the invading forces, adding about 11 battalion tactical groups and as many as 11,000 troops. And just today alone, Russian forces increased assaults on the Donetsk region, which is part of Donbass, and they're making it happen. Occupiers are breaking through the defenses of the Ukrainians that are trying to hold the pass there. But we got to remember the long information that's been withheld, the information about what's actually happening there. The Donbass region's been at war since 2014 as they've been attacking their own people. Yeah, I'm not getting into that where that missile came from, Billy. Not tonight. I think NATO's getting directly involved a lot more than they need to be right now in this whole situation. As we're seeing what's happening there, of course, after Zelensky's speech and then the photos that he put out everywhere of buildings and the steel mills, of course, being burned down, stating that Russia's being attacking citizens at an alarming rate today. Of course, after he said that they were going to fight and hide and do whatever they had to do, to repel the Russian forces. Of course, the Kremlin bombing Mariupol's plants where civilians and soldiers are sheltering is his big thing, as Russian forces started dropping bunker buster bombs on the steel plants where Ukrainians are refusing to surrender. The commander of Azov's regiment and the National Guard said Monday. Of course, those are his soldiers that are there. The Azov movement, we talked about all that already. They're an extremely neo-Nazi group. That is part of a government-wide thing. Of course, nuclear weapons and what could happen when will Putin decide to pull the trigger on nuclear weapons? It's a big question that's up tonight and up for debate. But a lot of people are saying right now that nuclear weapons are out of the question unless he feels an existential threat to his country or regime, according to foreign policy experts. They could be used, but in very, very specific situations. A former Russian foreign minister told, of course, us, if Russia or one of the countries really threatened in their hearts, existentially, that is, if NATO troops were to enter, of course, or they would probably resort to nuclear weapons. That's without a question at that point. Russia has changed course over the past few weeks after failing to take Kiev despite a month-long campaign in northern Ukraine. We've seen Russian jets, though, fly with nuclear missiles over western Ukraine at this point. But they're not talking about that. It's because they weren't launched. Of course, a lot of stuff is being said that suggests Putin could use tactical nukes if Russia faced an overwhelming military defeat in Donbass. And that's the case where a tactical weapon might be considered a demonstration to resolve or basically reverse any trends going on in the Russian military. I could see them using a city killer. I could honestly see it happening already. And it would definitely usher in World War III. And the assumption that if he does, he's attacking NATO. That's what NATO would confirm or try to say. I mean, if you look at what's already been said and everything else, right now they're looking for evidence of chemical weapons supposedly being used. If they can find chemical weapons, if they can find a use of chemical weapons that they're supposedly saying they have, that could directly lead into us being pulled into this war. People can't afford electric vehicles, but people can't afford a lot of things in this country. Yeah, they wanted to kill the stories as quick as possible. It is sad. It's sad. Our mainstream media is more focused on what's going on tax day and Biden's remarks in the White House Easter egg hunt. And of course, our fantasy of being with our stars like Taylor Swift or Nicolas Cage or Dallas Cowboys tight end Datelin, Britney Spears. I mean, this is what the news is full of. Jurassic Park, Floyd Mayweather, Thor, Love and Thunder. This is what they talk about on the news right now. Not what's really happening out there. Not what's really happening. Not what people need to hear. It's hard for people to understand what's happening out there in the world because they're not getting the news. When they don't understand that price of fertilizer up 120%. And that's a big cost for farmers. 36 states are having to call their chickens and egg-laying birds. Yes, now chickens that you eat only take 30 days to raise. But still, that's a huge call of chickens because they have to call all their birds. That means a huge amount of birds will have to be reproduced. And protecting the flocks is even more of a problem. There is no vaccine. Nobody's putting the brutal wave of bird flu in the spotlight. Yeah, 90% of the fertilizer that we need right now that we can't even get comes from Russia. The 120% cost of fertilizer that we can get is the fertilizer that we can produce here. The problem is that's not enough fertilizer for the country. I mean, rising inflation costs is going to cause more problems than just this. I don't see a housing bubble popping anytime soon. As mortgage rates continue to increase, as so housing builders, of course, aren't building homes on loans like they used to. So we're seeing less homes being built. So we're going to be fighting for more housing during this problem. This overall inflation is going to hit every sector. Every sector. And it's going to be a problem that everybody's being faced with. It's that. Sad day in America. Another sad day. Another. Yeah. Well, that we're all genetically all these farmers that raise huge huge. But like all this food is all genetically modified. The seeds require very specialized fertilizers. Can't grow on the ground without them. I think Russia's already preparing for a massive cyber attack. As you know, they publicly announced that Russia has spyware and malware within our power grid system already. They cannot deny that now. They know it's there. They know it's happening. It's a question of when Russia decides to move, not if. And I can see Russia using nuclear tactical weapons as well, without a question, at this point. I mean, Pittsburgh, Sunday, there was 2 people killed and 8 people wounded in a shooting at a Pittsburgh party. This is ridiculous, the amount of people being shot in mass shootings around the United States. Crime going way up. It's just sad. All I can say is pray for our country. Pray for our country. And get out and vote this year. Make sure you get out and vote. Susan, you're right. There's a couple people at the board of that stream that show that. It's ridiculous what's happening. Our country's falling apart from the inside out. God bless you guys. I'm going to sign off here. I see Facebook is freezing me. Hopefully it's not frozen for you guys, but looks frozen on my side altogether. But God bless you guys. God bless America. Get out and vote. Get out and be heard. God bless you. Good night.